What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are here at Grand Central Station in Central South Carolina. This is one of the first big courses that I ever played, and I've played this course so many different times. It's gone through a kind of a recent redo. Some of the holes have changed. We used to drive in through this street, and now there's a gate there, and I have to come in through where one of the fairways used to be. So some stuff on the park has changed, obviously. We're gonna play it today and see how well we can score. Checking back on my U-disc, it says that my average score for a round here was 7 over par. That is completely beatable and definitely doable for me to beat that score. I think I can shoot pretty close to even, if not under par at this course. We're gonna throws today and see how well we can shoot. Hole 1. It's right there, just straight in front of you. We're gonna go Sky God 4. It's 290, but downhill. So first throw of the day, let's make sure I can get a little bit of power and get a P2 to glide. That is edge of circle left. Probably should have gone with the pink one for the first throw of the day, but already throw's feeling pretty good. Let's go make some putts. Starting off with a par. If you hear me anytime on my channel starting off a round with a par, I'm not really mad at. It's gonna be the other holes that I've played them so many times and I failed so many times that it kind of gets in my head. So today is less about throwing well and more about conquering the mental barriers. I think I forgot to mention this course has 2 different courses on it. Some of the holes are the same, some of them are different. We're playing the kind of the OG layout, which I believe is called, the OG layout is called Fright Line. If you come here, you're gonna be playing all the black signs and the black arrows, the black tee pads. The blue line is the locomotive line. They're definitely keeping in the train theme. But that one has some holes that they still need some work, it feels like, even though like it's a set-in course, it's speed in. Some of those holes are just not great holes. Hole number 2 though, 360 feet. Punch it out there, go across the road that we used to drive in on, and then get to the right. So we're gonna go PD forehand and just try to boost one. I used to pray that I could get this far on this fairway, and now I'm like, damn it, I threw it too low. We're gonna go spore, just nice little, this is the only disc that I actually fan grip in my bag, because it kind of flies like an Ultra Star now, so just kind of fan grip it, throw it like it's a catch disc. How pretty is that? I love that disc. Hey look, we're still even. Hole 3, 270, it's gonna go straight and then hook around to the right, but it's more of a backhand turnover shot than a forehand. So we're gonna go with the dryad and just follow the fairway. Oh, it's 2 inside, but it got lucky. All right, another par. If we can get to hole 6 even par or below par, I'm gonna be so happy. No, it's so. This is one of the holes where I'm a little upset what they did with the course, because the OG pin position, the original pin position for this course, is tucked up to the right, and they made that because it's a harder position. They made it for the locomotive instead of the freight line, so it's really annoying. I'm gonna play the actual U-disc course though, so we're playing the one straight ahead. I grabbed this because I was thinking of throwing the forehand to the right, but we're not going to the right anymore. So this is a Star Rock 3 that I used to throw all over this course 15 years ago, and I still have it. It's a little thinner than it used to be, but it's still good. I'm gonna go try to go to the right of this pole down here because it's still the rock 3. It's gonna fade back. It's 415 feet, but it's very downhill. Yeah, so that went about 380. I'm still a little short though. I love the directions the wind is blowing for 6 and 7, but for right now it's a crosswind for a putt. One down. Starting off good. Unless there's a hole that like gets me with all the OB and everything, I'm feeling really good about today's round. I still prefer the OG hole 5, which was the one up there and you threw down as if it was a hyzer into the woods. This one's a turnover into the woods, which I still love. It's just, I haven't played it for 20 years, so I don't know that well. It's 275 feet, slight drift. I think I'm gonna go peach. You know, peach backhand, let it flip and drift into that gap. Didn't quite make it all the way. Basket, 4. It's okay. I wasn't expecting that to go in. I was expecting it to make it past all the trees, which it did. Still one down, going into 6. This is like best case scenario right now. Because 6 and 7 are both wide open with some distance needed. This was always the hole that I wanted to come to and just rip a drive as far as I could. The problem is, for me, that was always the backhand, and then you get the fade, and then you skip left, and those woods are OB. So don't end up in those woods. But now I have this little special secret. I can throw the forehand a lot further than I used to, and I have efficient time lapse. We're gonna put this on a little bit of a hyzer flip, but there is a tailwind, so we can probably safely push that left wall and still fade back into the fairway. Well, that's not what I wanted. Found it. Good news. Bad news, we went OB. Good news, it's a par 4, so we're throwing 2, still in the fairway. Gonna go PD forehand, it's about 380 left. I think if I maybe give it a slight flex or just punch it really straight, it'll be down there around circle, and we're still 1 under par, so that gave us a little bit of wiggle room for this. It's close to pin high, but like 70 feet right. We're going with the stable score of the day, which is the blue one. That's a bogey, which brings us right back to even par, which if we can stay at even par, we're good, but there's holes that I definitely can make us some strokes here. They're putting in a lot of new different roads and access places here. 315, but it's 25 feet downhill. We're gonna go dryad and just give it a little bit of turn and watch it ride the wind. Oh my, that went way too far. All right, that is hole number 7. Even par still, going on to hole number 8, which is, I think if I remember correctly, it's gonna be a little tricky. Hole number 8 is another par 4, 455 feet. It's gonna go out there across the creek and then kind of straightens up a little bit more to the right, but just straight up onto the hillside. There is a tunnel that you have to hit, so you have to kind of place your first shot to be able to have a shot at the second shot. We're gonna go stabilizer just so that I don't go too far and end up in the creek. Don't wanna be in the creek, don't wanna go OB more than I have to, and hopefully if I don't go far enough, I'll be far enough back that I should be able to work a shot into the gap. Right behind the tree. The one tree that you don't want to be behind. Looks like I have a bit of a patent pending shot, so I'm going to go backhand method. And hopefully I can flex it enough to just kind of keep it straight into the gap. Oh, the branch. That was going to be really good, but branch got in the way. We need to get up and down to save a par. So we're going with Pyro forehand, just up there. And that is a par, because I almost threw it in. Hole number 9. It's unfortunate. It probably is part of, like, they're doing more renovations, but hole number 9's basket is not in the ground right now. Where it normally is, there's a bucket. So I'm gonna throw and see how close to the bucket I can get. And if I'm inside 20 feet, we'll count it as a putt made. Outside of 20 feet, I have to still get a little bit closer. We're gonna go PD backhand, and we're just basically gonna count this as a par because don't really have any other way to run it. It looked pretty good, a little sawed off, but I think it's just outside 20, so we'll call it a par and move on to hole 10. Hole 10 is another par 3, 320 feet. We are still at even par. This hole is going to go, well, this shot is gonna try to go in between the short bush and the tall tree right there and then drift over to the right because the basket's pretty much straight ahead. There's just some trees in the way. So you either have to go one way or the other. So we're gonna go peach, backhand, turnover. Gonna be a little too far right. Definitely don't want to end up going too far on this one, so we're gonna go soft run. That's makeable putt. Still even par. Hole 11, 580 feet. This hole has been known to eat people's lunch. Paul McBethan in 4-round A tier took bogey or worse on this hole 4 different times in a row. It is very tough. The play for most people is to just play to the mouth of the gap and then chip up to the green. Neither shot is very difficult. It's just that you have to be extremely precise with the first shot, or you have almost no shot at the second one. I haven't played from that tee pad before because that's brand new, but it looks like I might have a shot from there. Normally try to go back and turn over into here, but being as far back as I am, I think I'm gonna have a better chance of just pumping a pyro on a forehand, because if I throw it really, really hard, it's not gonna fade that much. It's gonna go pretty straight. Looks like I might get to throw the backhand turnover anyways. Yeah, backhand turnover it is. Well, that's just rude. I forgot that that was a triple tree. A bogey on this hole means that I tied Paul McBeth. And honestly, this hole has eaten my lunch so many times. Bogey's fine. There are more holes. There's a lot of shorter holes that we can definitely get if we want to get back to even par. Yep, still a lot of chances. Hole 12, 235. It's going to be up there and then tucked to the left behind Grand Central Station's version of the spider tree. Going Sky God 4, just backhand hyzer right through the gap. Back to even. Hole 13's 260 feet. Down there and then to the right. So pyro, forehand, hyzer. I went too far. It's too skippy a little bit. That is unfortunate because that felt like a really good putt. But still even par, so we're still beating my average score out here. Hole 14, 180 feet. The red mulch, it acts as an island. So if you don't land inside the island, you go to a drop zone, which is about 60 feet away. Going spore, backhand. And I go to the drop zone anyways, even though I landed right in the middle of the island. Slid off the back edge. And that's another bogey, but more holes to play. Hole 15, this is the shortest tee pad that they've installed yet on this hole. The old one's like 30 feet behind us, but it was on the edge of the creek and then the bank started eroding, so they are replacing it with this one, so it's even shorter than it was before. I much prefer the blue pad here just because it's like a 300-foot shot, but 199 feet, hyzer, spore. Boy, that's a long putt. I'm not leaving myself easy ones. That was right at edge of circle. That was 11 steps in. Hole 16, 195 feet. We're going spore. This tree right here, the arrow's pretty much faded away, but that is a Mando, so you have to stay left of that tree. Otherwise, you had people going big hyzer and it was making it way easier. Now it's a touchy shot. I just threw it right into the ground. Two more holes. There's one really touchy one and one really touchy and really hard one. So I didn't really leave myself much wiggle room to stay at even par. But if I can get 17, then I'll have a buffer for 18. 17, 250 feet. You can't really see it because it's up there and then onto the hillside. We're gonna go the blue spore, the stable one, and just put it on some hyzer, let it crash the hillside. Hopefully this rubbery plastic will just kind of sit and stick instead of rolling all the way back down the hill. I was just waiting to see if it rolled. I didn't see it roll, so hopefully that means good things. So as it turns out, the reason that I used to go with the Rhino all the time was because I could just throw it flat and it would fade. You want something a little more overstable so you can throw it flat and then it fade instead of just throwing it on hyzer, because you'll crash in a little bit too short. Now we got a really tall uphill putt. Well, that sucks. Now I have to par 18 and I know that that's going to be a tough hole, but I've been working so much on my game recently and my accuracy and just precision that I think I'll have a chance on 18. Maybe not for birdie, but I think I'll have a chance at just even par, nice and easy, finish out the round at even. Let's start walking. Hole 18, 555, par 4. Do I have the distance to get there for a birdie? Absolutely. Do I have the distance to get there with a birdie and throw through that gap first? I don't know. But all those times that I've thrown at that gap a hole 6 at Julian just on purpose and hit it, it's gonna help here. I'm gonna go method, just punch it, punch the gap. I'm in the fairway. Definitely missed a lot on that. For about 330 uphill, I'm gonna keep playing for the par, but if this goes really, really well, then we're gonna take a birdie, hooray. We're gonna go PD forehand and just punch it. Make sure I get a little bit of a turn, but also make sure I keep it high enough that I don't just throw it into the ground. I will have a very, very long look for a birdie. This is more than likely just a layup, but definitely gonna try to put it in. That was a good try. That's finishing the day at even par. So it turns out that if you take a little bit of a sabbatical from your old home course and the course you used to play so often, and you got all the good and the bad breaks, then taking that little bit of a break might help you improve, and you take time to work on your game and on your form and on your accuracy and distance. Turns out you're going to end up playing better even if you go back and play the exact same course. Like I said, my average on UDisc for this course is 7 over par, and I just shot even and did not warm up beforehand. So that's what consistency, practice, and effort will get you. But you're gonna need all three to really make it start to work, because just having effort and practice, or just having consistency and practice but no effort, you know, you're gonna need all three of those, and you'll end up having a good time out on the course. If you enjoy content like this, where I go out and just play random courses and see how well I score, whether or not I've played them before, I'm down to try new courses for sure. Make sure to like the video. If you want to see new stuff, make sure to comment down below. If it's a good idea, I might even turn it into a video. And make sure to subscribe. So many giveaways for all my subscribers. And until next time, folks, see you out on the course.